Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In the latest update, Senator-elect Kevin Rodriguez has filed to have the lawsuit challenging his eligibility to serve in the 32nd legislature moved to the federal court system. The filing is known as a notice of removal, removing the case from the VI Superior Court's jurisdiction unless the federal court remands the case back to the Superior Court for consideration. The filing comes the day after a 30-day waiting period required for removal to the federal courts expired. The St. Thomas-St. John District Board of Elections, represented by attorney Julita De Leon, also agreed to the removal to federal court, which is required of all defendants. However, two other defendants in the case did not agree, and Croblin's motion argued that they did not have to do so. Now, this comes after Rodriguez sued the 32nd legislature and Senate President Myron Jackson in federal court on Tuesday to claim the Senate seat he won in the November 8th general election. He filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court after a timeline had passed, and after Supervisor of Election Carolyn Fox's statement on the record as well that she should have read Kevin A. Rodriguez's name at the swearing-in ceremony on Monday, January 9th, 2016. Supervisor Fox also stated for the record, Executive Director Stradiron did not instruct her not to read Senator-elect Rodriguez's name. Her decision was based on the Supreme Court order and him not being present on the platform. The general membership meeting is coming up on St. Croix. The introduction of the Democratic leadership of the 32nd legislature is scheduled this weekend. The guest speaker is Senator Narita O'Reilly on Saturday, January 14th. That's from 10 a.m. to 12 at Rotary West in LaGrange, Frederiksted. Police need your help as they search for a wanted man. Here's more from the VIPD.
He's a Hispanic male, height about 5'9", weighs about 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes with a light complexion. His occupation is landscaping, and he drives or operates a 1991 GMC Sierra red color truck with veteran's license plate number V31. He frequents Williams Delight area. If you locate or if anyone come in contact with Tomas Melendez III, you can call 911. You can call the Criminal Investigations Bureau Domestic Unit at 340-772-2211. You can call Crime Stoppers, VI at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Again, if you have any information that can assist police in Tomas Melendez's whereabouts, please contact them at the mentioned numbers. On January 11th, District Court Judge Curtis Gomez sentenced Alejandro Geraldino Arcina, 39, of the Dominican Republic, to 202 months imprisonment for conspiracy and possession with intent to distribute cocaine, followed by 5 years of supervised release. Geraldino Arcina was also sentenced to a consecutive 60-month term for possession of a firearm during a drug trafficking offense. Co-defendant Ricardo Cardona, 35, of Puerto Rico, was sentenced to 214 months imprisonment for conspiracy and possession with intent to distribute cocaine. Cardona was also sentenced to a consecutive 60-month term for possession of a firearm during a drug trafficking offense. According to evidence presented at trial on the morning of September 3rd, 2015, Geraldino Arcina and Cardona traveled in a private vessel equipped with a hidden compartment from Fajardo, Puerto Rico to St. Thomas to purchase 150 kilograms of cocaine. They docked their vessel at the University of the Virgin Islands Marine Center dock, where they met other members of the drug trafficking organization to collect the cocaine in exchange for $250,000 and 3 assault rifles. Earlier that day in Puerto Rico, DEA agents seized $1.4 million in cash, which was partial payment for the cocaine. Well, the trial began for a woman suspected of sending 32 white powder-filled letters to various recipients. Her attorney, Assistant Federal Public Defender Gabriel Villegas, says Eugenia Winston, who is representing herself in a lawsuit against her former employer and was preparing subpoenas to send to witnesses at her apartment on August 28th, and then an accident happened in which a bag of body powder spilled onto her bed and some of the powder ended up in some of the envelopes. He said 2 of the recipients were her own mother and sister, and it was by accident. Now, in opening statements, Assistant U.S. Attorney David White said in his opening statement, those who received and opened the letters were subjected to quarantine and fear that they had been exposed to a biological toxin. The letters tested negative for hazardous materials and were found to contain baby powder and cornstarch. Envelopes containing the powder showed up at Scotiabank in Altona St. Thomas and at the post office and the Ron DeLuga Federal Building and the law offices of Bennett Chan in Buccaneer Mall. A grand jury indicted Winston on 21 counts of mailing a threatening communication, 1 count of mailing to a U.S. judge, and 31 counts of creating a hoax. Winston had been free on $10,000 unsecured bond since September 1st. The Adjutant General for the Virgin Islands, Brigadier General Deborah Howell, will host a retirement ceremony for her State Command Sergeant, Major Dolores English Edwards. After 40 years of military service, the event will be held Friday, January 13th, 11 a.m. at the Joint Force Headquarters Drill Hall in Estate Bethlehem, St. Croix. Command Sergeant Major Edwards is a 1975 graduate of St. Croix Central High School. She joined the VI Army National Guard on July 14, 1976. She attended basic combat training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, completed training as a personnel administrative specialist at Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana, and returned to the National Guard to serve as administrative clerk for the Military Police Company on St. Croix. Command Sergeant Major Edwards served in various positions in units and departments. Well, lawmakers held a third day of contentious confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill Thursday to vet President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks. Today included hearings for Trump's choices for Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and for the Director of the CIA. Kristen Holmes has this report from Washington.
Retired General James Mattis took his turn in the hot seat Thursday, seeking confirmation in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee.
It would be the highest honor, if I am confirmed, to lead those who volunteer to support and defend the Constitution.
Mattis strayed from President-elect Donald Trump's position on multiple issues, from relations with Russia and Putin.
We also have to recognize reality and what Russia is up to, and there's a decreasing number of areas where we can engage cooperatively.
To NATO, which Trump has called obsolete.
I would see us maintaining the strongest possible relationship with NATO.
Mattis, who retired in 2013, faces an extra hurdle, convincing all of Congress to bypass a law requiring military officers have a 7-year rest period before serving as Secretary of Defense.
It will be the CIA's mission, and my own if confirmed, to ensure that the agency remains the best in the world.
Meanwhile, Trump's pick for CIA Director, Representative Mike Pompeo, also indicated stark differences with the president-elect.
It's pretty clear about what took place here, about Russian involvement in efforts to hack information and to have an impact on American democracy.
And assured the committee that he would not allow illegal interrogation tactics like waterboarding. Dr. Ben Carson, a Trump surrogate and pick for Department of Housing and Urban Development, also on Capitol Hill Thursday.
I would enforce all the laws of the land.
In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
Keeping our eye on the economy, after years of falling prices, travelers need to get ready for airfares to start soaring again. Delta says it expects airfares to rise as much as 2% early this year. 4 of the major U.S. airlines reported lower fares for most of last year, and executives at Delta, American, United, and Southwest are all looking for ways to end the decline. Those 4 airlines control about 80% of all U.S. air travel. Let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with the Stock Market Watch. As you can see, everything down. The Dow down 63, NASDAQ 16, S&P 500 down 4. Coming up on News 2, grab a pen and paper. We have the top numbers for the VI lottery that was drawn earlier today. Plus, as we kick off the new year, some things to keep in mind about to your health right there. We have the latest on high blood pressure, what you need to know. Welcome back. In local business news, VI Keller Halls Ferguson Croblin, PLLC, One of the Virgin Islands' leading law firms has announced that David Bourne, Esquire, has become a partner of the firm. Attorney Bourne will continue the legacy of his practice and his mother, the late Edith Bourne, who was the first woman to open a private law practice in the territory beginning in 1953. He and his staff will operate a branch office of KFK out of the familiar historic Bourne building at 8 Noragata in downtown Charlotte-Amalie. David Bourne began his practice in 1981. Bourne said he's excited to be part of such a cutting-edge firm that blends well with the long heritage of my practice. He says Keller Halls Ferguson Crumlin is a full-service business law firm with offices in the U.S. Virgin Islands and New York. Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands, they're awarding nearly $28,000 in grants to support a variety of STEM programs and projects within the public schools. These grants were made possible by a contribution from the AT&T Foundation. Hundreds of students within the St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John districts will have the opportunity to explore the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics through hands-on creative instruction. Teachers and professionals were required to submit proposals that aimed to improve student achievement. Preference was given to proposals where students are directly involved in projects. These grants range from $1,500 to $5,000 and will be used to boost STEM education within the Virgin Islands public schools. Family Resource Centers say to put this on the calendar, they're hosting their annual Peacemaker Gala on Thursday, January 19th at the Pride Lake Hall on the Antilles campus from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Each year, the agency selects individuals that have gone above and beyond their regular jobs to help bring peace to the Virgin Islands. The Peacemaker Gala has been the main fundraiser for Family Resource Center for more than a decade, bestowing the honor to over 20 community peacemakers over the years. Each of these persons have been honored in brief award ceremony, which is preceded by a reception. The event also features a silent auction. Now this year, those are the honorees, Paula Edwards and Sean Pennington. Be sure to mark this as well on your calendar. The big event is coming up, Love City Live on St. John, the entertainment event of the year. A whole weekend of beach, music, boating, and more. There is an incredible lineup of renowned reggae artists. It will kick off Thursday, January 26th, Hush VIP Soiree. Friday, January 27th, the All-White Beach Party. Saturday, January 28th, Reggae in the Ruins featuring Dwayne Stevenson. Sunday, January 29th, it's the Powerboat Party. Monday, January 30th, they're calling it Back to Reality. Tickets are available online or at the gate. Here's more.
Friday, the All-White Party that's on the Cruise Bay beachfront. It's, as we like to think, it's the sexiest beach party in the Virgin Islands. It's a really upscale dance party that happens on the beach. We have top shelf bars, we have world-class DJs that come down and play for it, and it's just a really nice vibe right there on the beach that you can't beat. And the dress code is all white. Our live product on Saturday is Reggae in the Ruins. This year we have reggae superstar Dwayne Stevenson, that's the headliner, but we also have local talent, Tia Mason, Ras Bach, who's also on the card, and Just Soldier's band, which is a band out of St. Thomas with Wayne Jacama. And then Sunday is a popular powerboat party. This year we're going to Pirates Bight on Norman Island. So all water roads leads to Pirates Bight for a huge beach party out there. It's part beach party, part boat show in terms of the boaters coming out there and showing their boats. So we get a lot of the boaters, the local boaters, to bring out their crafts that day. If you're not part of that overall weekend package that you're doing, villa and that type of thing, then all of the other events, and it's only 3 of them, then those are a la carte. And you buy each one of them individually on our website, lovecityLiveLLC.com, and you just go there and you go straight to the ticket page and purchase it online.
And we will have more on Love City Live next week. Are you ready, meanwhile, for the annual Bordeaux Farmers Vegan Fair? That is scheduled this weekend on St. Thomas, Saturday, January 14th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be activities for the children at the Vicky Palmer Youth and Family Activity Center. Lots of vendors with interesting treats and items for purchase. Many vendors will also share educational materials, including the Department of Health. Again, the fair is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday in Bordeaux. Virgin Islands Lottery, in recognition of the Crucian Christmas Festival that just wrapped up, they dedicated a ticket to the vibrant scenes found during the fun and festive time on the Big Island. If you purchased a sheet, you would have noticed the images that were taken by renowned photographer Charles Peters. Are you the winner of the top prize of $175,000? Here are your winning numbers.
The VI Lottery presents draw results of today's drawing on News 2. Here are the top prizes. Fifth prize for $20,000, 19943, 19943. Fourth prize for $30,000, 26705, 26705. Third prize for $40,000, 31366, 31366. Second prize for $65,000, 16140, 16140. And the winning ticket number for the grand prize of $175,000 is 30424, 30424. If your ticket number wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. The next drawing is January 26th. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
Good luck as you check those tickets. Well, new year, new you. Let's keep health in mind. The world's blood pressure is going up, according to a new study published in the January 10th issue Journal of the American Medical Association. Kim Hutchison has the details in today's Health Minute.
Rates of high blood pressure have increased globally in the last 25 years. That's according to researchers who analyzed more than 800 studies from 154 countries, examining information from nearly 9 million people around the world. They found that the rate of elevated systolic blood pressure grew substantially between 1990 and 2015. Systolic pressure refers to the amount of pressure in your arteries when your heart muscle contracts and pushes blood into your veins. It's the top number in your blood pressure reading, and it's normally between 90 and 120. JAMA's analysis projected that an estimated 3.5 billion adults had systolic blood pressure on the high end of that scale, between 110 and 115. Another 874 million were at 140 or above. Systolic pressure of 110 to 115 has been linked to multiple types of cardiovascular and kidney problems. Researchers said it was linked to 10 million deaths in 2015 and was the leading global contributor to preventable death that year. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Well, winds and seas remain hazardous, and we'll have the latest. Meanwhile, our very close neighbors, beaches remain closed in the BVI as very rough seas conditions with waves reaching up to 11 feet continue to affect the BVI territory, closing all beaches. We'll find out what's happening closer here to home. Your AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Rainfall, not so much the issue across the Virgin Islands lately. We are seeing some strong winds out of the northeast, a big pressure gradient between this area of low pressure right here and also this high pressure that's going to be moving in towards the Atlantic. So what we're seeing, some winds out of the northeast, and they're high enough that they're really tossing up our waves. We take a look at our current radar. We have been seeing a couple of scattered showers across the water as well, and those are going to continue. But our bigger deal is what's happening out over the waters. For tonight, 73 degrees. Can't rule out those chances of a passing shower or so. Going to stay partly cloudy with those winds out of the northeast. Now heading towards tomorrow, we'll get in some sunshine, but we'll continue to see those chances for showers as well. A high of 84. Throughout tomorrow, we do have a rip current risk as well as coastal flooding around the northern facing beaches near St. John, as well as out towards St. Croix and into St. Thomas as well. Along with this, the high surf advisory also potential, especially during times of high tide. So we are going to be wanting to be paying special attention and using a lot of caution as we head during those times tomorrow and even in through Sunday. These warnings are going to be lasting. So 84 degrees out towards St. Croix for tomorrow. Out on the waters, as I said, that small craft advisory, waves 10 to 12 feet, winds out of the northeast 15 to 20 knots. We are seeing gusts up to 30 to 35. On the Caribbean, our waves slightly less, 8 to 10, but they are definitely still dangerous, and also those rip currents out on the beaches are our biggest issue there for swimmers. Here's a look at our extended outlook. Pretty much stays in towards a easterly flow pattern as we head towards the weekend. So our winds will calm down just slightly as we head towards the early part of next week. But overall, we're going to maintain pretty strong easterly flow winds through Monday, and that also means we could be seeing those brief passing showers in spots. Back to you.
Thanks for that. Time for our News 2 weather picture by Denisha Lawrence of Ricardo Richards Elementary School. And Denisha loves sunshine, but most of all, she loves the bright blue skies. Denisha, we agree. We love when the skies look like that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to be featured to the address on the screen. News 2 Innovative Business Center, 4611 Tutu Park, Suite 300, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. And then tune in to see your picture at some random night. Thank you for that. And that is all for this edition of News 2. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Guman saying have a wonderful evening.